set, they're able to move and kind of make some things get a little creative and really be able to kind of trick up a defense.
Seeing that here, but of course he can't always account for the puck taking a hop there over the stick of Emma Pice. So under a minute to go here on the power play. Still just the one shot on goal for the Raiders. And the Bulldogs send it back down once again. So looking at one, maybe two chances, depending on how fast Colgate can get out of their defensive end and carry over that blue line. Oh, good speed, far side, shot, save, and a good one. Puck still loose just outside the crease. Raiders stay with it. They've got 13 seconds to go on the power play. Puck loose, coming across. What a save there by Gascon. Stole it away on the power play. They stay, coming out of the box. Long shots went up over the top. Laurie escapes, so now the Bulldogs back to full strength. Colgate trying to win another one. Puck still loose again. That got knocked out before it got in to Gascon, but cleared out and at full strength. The cover there for Murphy, but we're going to get a penalty going against the Raiders. A trip whistled. And it's going to be Minnesota Duluth now with a power play of their own to answer.
Yeah, that was coming out of the breakout after that last save. I'll get back to that save in one moment. But, yeah, it was just one of those coming through. It looked like she was trying to almost hip check to try and kind of create some movement here. Didn't work out, ended up being a trip. But going back to this save, you know, I was watching the Buffalo Sabres New Jersey Devil game this afternoon.
Yeah.
And I had made a comment to a friend. I was like, you know, the save of the year may have just happened on the first NHL game of the season. I think that's a candidate for save of the year for the first women's hockey game in this arena.
Yeah, that was an absolute robbery there. I mean, Gascon, it's always those dangerous ones, and you don't really expect it, because you want all your shots to be on goal. Another chance, another beautiful save. This time coming down on the other end. Murphy takes it away. But how about that? An answer to the Colgate goalkeeper.
Apparently we're just going to go back and forth for best save of the night on the power play.
Yeah, why not? Let's take another look at that. Some really good puck movement from the Bulldogs, but loose puck. If that had gotten elevated at all, probably 1-0. But no, Murphy comes over and gets the pad in front.
Well, you can see she's tracking that puck the entire time. She's already halfway over to the other post before the puck even got on the stick again. She had that movement and was ready to go. And you could see the glove side even starting to come up a little bit as well. She was prepared for that lift.
So we'll get a face-off here in the defensive end for the Raiders. I'm just saying, that shot that goes wide, then goes off the boards, comes out on the other side, it's just so tough to try and defend in goal, because you just never know where that puck is going to end up. And that's what happened down on the other end for Gascon. Of course, it was a little better of a chance over on the near post over here going against Murphy, but regardless, two beautiful saves.
I think that's where a lot of goalies kind of wish that they had eyes on the back of their head.
Yeah. You got to rely on that defense a little bit to tell you if that puck came out on that opposite side from where the shot came from, if it ended up going into the back of the net, and you got to get a defender back in to try and play behind you. But regardless, we're getting a little discussion here. The officials over conversing with the bench for the Bulldogs. Head coach Laura Schuler in there. First year, another coach who has kind of moved into that position after being at a lesser spot in the coaching staff. Well, you don't want to say lesser. Maybe less responsibility spot in the coaching
that's
staff.
probably the better way of saying it.
Yeah. But now whatever that discussion is comes to an end. Still an advantage here for the Bulldogs, and they will be able to try and win this puck and get something going offensively. They cannot. A good face-off win in the middle. Sarah Stewart gets that, and the Raiders able to send it out. Stewart's going to be the first one to the puck here down on the opposite end, but will have to just waste a little bit of time. The puck beat her down into the corner before she could get anything on. So waste 1 or 2 extra seconds. Still over a minute to go here on the power play for the Bulldogs. That escapes the zone. They have to retreat back to neutral ice. Kramer's shot kicked away. Over against the far side boards, trying to win it. If you're Colgate, you're happy with this. This puck pinned up against the boards, that's tough, but maybe not on a chance that comes of it. Good save by Murphy. Goes over to the far side. Colgate defender goes down, leaves some open space, but a nice positioning save there by Hannah Murphy once again. She's been busy already here in period number 1.
Lots of saves, lots of movement. She's clearly very locked in, very relaxed. But going back to those board battles for a second, that seems to be benefiting the Raiders right now on defense. They're able to win those board battles, and it's helping when they've got such a prolific offense kind of working against.
Henderson backside. What a save! Did she get the stick on that to keep it out? Murphy might have just won up that save of the year here early on in this women's collegiate season if she got a stick on that one. Now the puck still loose in the crease. Both sides trying to dig it out. Thrown in towards the net once again. Murphy lost her stick in the crease, so she's got to recover that. She does. 5 seconds to go here on the power play for the Bulldogs, but the Raiders, with this puck up against the boards, looking like they'll go perfect here through one penalty kill opportunity. It does come to an end, 1:09 to go, and we'll get a whistle and a stoppage. We got to take another look at that, because if Hannah Murphy got her stick on that to make a save, I mean, that is outstanding. Called a Sports Center top 10. I think she did.
I think she did. That was a great replay angle to be able to get a look at that. My goodness. Also, the Bulldogs are now 1 for 7 to start this season on the power play. Only scored 1 goal against the Buckeyes. So that is interesting. A little bit of a slower start on the power play for Minnesota Duluth.
Also just kind of proves how good their 5-on-5 play was in that series as well. When you aren't really able to capitalize when you are a woman up, but you're still beating who was then the number 1 team in the country in Ohio State. That means that you're playing really well when both teams are at full strength.
Well, when you look at it, that's basically 1 goal with a player advantage, and I think 4 or 5 on 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Like, the ratio is kind of mind-blowing when you put it into that perspective.
So both sides still looking for goal number 1 here in period number 1. Not a lot of time left to do it, though. Under 30 seconds to go in the period. That one sent all the way down. Murphy asking for icing, but it does not get to the goal line. So no icing, and the Raiders just clear it out of their defensive end by a few feet. In the neutral zone, looking for something. Comes over to the near side. 2 seconds to go. Colgate keeps it. They will not have time to go down, and that is how period 1 comes to an end. A whole lot of chances, most of them coming for the Bulldogs, but the goalies are perfect through 1. 16 saves on one side for Hannah Murphy. On the other side, it's 6 saves for Eve Gascon, and that is how period 1 comes up some chances for some of the teammates on the
situations. Eye out. Vermont's unranked, so that could be a really easy way for that team to sneak up into the top 15.
Of course, Ohio State, the team that Minnesota Duluth went out and beat in a pair of games, but on the other side of that matchup going on right now, St. Lawrence is the team that Colgate went out and played in their exhibition game and took down the Saints 3-1 in that one, another ranked team. So it's been just these ranked teams going head-to-head against one another early on in this season. And right now, I mean, all tied up in both barns.
It is a small hockey world, particularly in collegiate women's hockey, and you're already seeing crossover now. It's the 3rd weekend of the season, and we're getting this level of crossover. I love it.
Yeah, both these teams have played one series.
Exactly.
So period 2 underway, still looking for something to break the ice here At the class of 1965 arena on the campus of Colgate University, these Raiders and these Bulldogs going head-to-head, a top 10 battle here to open up the season at home for these Colgate Raiders. Still looking for our first shot of the period as the Raiders were the first team to grab possession, but their only chance was knocked wide. We talked a little bit about the shots on goal for both these sides, how that is weighed a little bit more towards Minnesota Duluth, but on the other side, I mean, you take a look at some of the face-offs, and that's a statistic that Colgate has led throughout this first game, 9-6. Good.
That's going to be very beneficial, particularly in some dangerous situations.
A chance there, but Murphy got her shoulder on it and steered that wide, but a good one for the Bulldogs here early. Comes over to Palumbo. She wraps it around. Gascon behind her own net. In the pass, looking for O'Brien, a little bit too strong. She will go to the bench, and the Raiders grab possession. And taken away. Bergen drops it back. Baskin looking for something in front, and that didn't get there. Good defense there by the Raiders. Looking to play it off the glass. That is not there. Puck goes into the Colgate bench, and we will get a stoppage and a face-off right in front of them.
Looks like a little bit of what we saw in the first period, where Colgate's kind of back into the mode of, all right, let's get our bearings under them. I think some of that just has to do with how aggressive Minnesota Duluth comes out. But at the same time, it does look like we're doing a little bit of a rinse-repeat dance here. Yeah,
it feels like these two teams came in knowing how their offense and how their defense operate, and that's how they are kind of sticking through it through the first 20 minutes and a little bit extra on the back end of this contest. Galton-Kova back in behind. She's not able to win the race to the puck, and the Bulldogs clear it. A long pass, the outlet connects, and they keep it in. Galton-Kova shot, save made. And then some contact on the back end. That's going to draw over. Some pushing, shoving, some words exchanged. When you got to see, like Van Wieren does, you know that she's willing to go over and let the Colgate defense know about her displeasure there. Maybe a little extra stick put in onto Gascon.
But when we talk about Colgate getting offense, really moving and getting that system, that was a perfect example of what they need to continue to do. Quick passes, quick shot. She had the open lane, she took it, and that worked out really nicely for the Raiders. It just needs to go beyond.
Yeah. And that shot came from distance there from Galton-Kova, but a good one. It was a one-time. Bit of contact there. Drew some oohs and ahs from the crowd, but didn't get anything from the Minnesota Duluth bench. They know that one was not a penalty. Pass through the middle, doesn't have a recipient for the Raiders. Bulldogs will go the other way. Back behind Murphy. Carried out. Stewart gave to Palumbo. Looking for a shot. That was knocked down. Came back to her. Still loose. Back in behind the net. Two Raiders were there. Stewart's got to go chase it down. Poked away, but no one on the near side to try and grab possession for Colgate. They are able to stop the puck from moving before it gets out. Here's a chance. Palumbo, backhand, in tight, in close, save made. Gascon. Raider faithful on a penalty as Brick went down there right outside the crease. They do not get it. We continue to play. 16:30 to go here in period number 2. Palumbo gets it on the near side, throws it over to the corner. Brick puts the body on, forces the puck loose. Now comes to, looks to be all right. Oh, that pass came through the middle. Palumbo a little bit behind it, though. Couldn't get a stick on to redirect. Now it goes over to the far side. Fell. Trying to play it into the corner, could not, and it does escape, but some really good zone time there for the Raiders.
really smart hockey too as well from the Raiders on that last possession. Nearly another chance right there. They're starting to see each other more. They're starting to get a little bit more of a wider vision, see the ice a little bit, see how Minnesota Duluth is setting up their defense, and it's paying off.
Here's COL1 that line in there for the Raiders. That was the second line that was doing a lot of that work for the Colgate team. COL1, good pass through the legs. That got some oohs and ahs, but unfortunately no shot put on there for Colgate. Now comes back, Pickering, long shot, puck still loose. That went wide. Aquino trying to work it free, pinned up against the boards. Now Aquino goes down, arm goes up, and going to the box to sit for two, Caitlin Kramer.
That was about as clear of a day of a minor penalty infraction that you can get. It's almost a dumb penalty as well for Minnesota Duluth take right now, because the Raiders have gotten a ton of momentum. Just a little lip of the stick, down she goes, arm goes up. It's as simple as that. And this is a situation where Colgate can really capitalize on the fact that they are getting some momentum moving. They're moving the puck. They've gotten some more shots on goal. This is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, that was without a doubt their best offensive chance of this game so far. And now they'll have the opportunity to keep it going. Brick and they're going to try and win the face-off and earn them some really good power play zone time. They do win it. Biederman down low, looking for COL1. Now up to the top. They're staying away from those point-to-point passes, keeping things on the near side. Now goes all the way around. Raiders will go back and keep it in, though. Oh, a giveaway. Joe Smith throws it in. Murphy has to make a save. She will cover. We'll get a face-off down on the other end. So that was a really good defensive work, or defensive effort there by the Bulldogs, not only getting that out of their defensive end, but also forcing a face-off down there to the left of Murphy.
I feel like I keep saying this word, but we really are seeing a lot of smart hockey to start this second period. A lot of very good decisions. And honestly, just a lot of, aside from the minor penalty here, but just very clean, making crisp passes. They're making smart decisions, and it's making it a lot more fluid of a game.
Now the Raiders trying to re-enter the zone. They are up. 5 women on the ice here against the 4 for the Bulldogs. Puck comes out to the point. Oh, here's a chance. Comes to Biederman trying to get that shot on. It was blocked. Good job there by Henderson to step in front. Loose puck. Oh, that's a mistake there, and almost really bad. Could still be. O'Brien in on net. She scores! 5-hole goal. O'Brien short-handed makes the Raiders pay.
That was just a little bit of a breakdown right at the blue line. They both kind of came towards each other. You could see it here. They almost kind of stop and look at each other here as who's getting the puck as it goes by. And, I mean, Mary Kate O'Brien just absolutely saw her opportunity, took it, and we officially have a goal on the board.
Yeah, there it is. First goal of the game here. 14:04 to go in period number 2, and it goes towards the Bulldogs. So it was maybe the best offensive chances that we have seen for Colgate all game long, but when you make a mental mistake like we saw the Raiders do there at line, you're going up against a team that just took down the reigning national champions in 2 games and is ranked themselves number 4 in the country. They will make you pay for that a pretty good majority of the time.
We talked about Caitlin Kramer getting a penalty at one of the worst possible times for the Bulldogs. That was one of the worst possible times for Colgate to have a little bit of a mental mistake. So it's a little bit of give and take here for both sides.
It's not the worst thing in the world. Colgate still on the power play. That Palumbo shot came in and the save made by Gascon, but you still have 34 seconds here if you're the Raiders of woman up. So you got to try and get something on goal and try and answer back here because you just gave up that shorty.
Well, you make the right decision as DeCross just did. You get fresh line out here. You get the top power play line out. Try and get something moving, and you kind of see what happens.
Long shot looking for COL1 in front. Didn't get to it. Comes over, Biederman all the way across, and that's enough. Away, another breakaway going the other way for the Bulldogs. Murphy makes the save, keeps it out. But another dangerous chance here for Minnesota Duluth, and Colgate with just 8 seconds to go on the power play. They drop it back. Kaltenkova, one-timer, scores! How about an answer for those Raiders? Alyssa Biederman answers back.
My goodness, you want to talk about a play and speed coming together? By far one of the best goals the Raiders have scored this season thus far. It was a clean play, really smart to kind of do it in a little bit of a transition, especially while the Minnesota Duluth defense has been on the ice for quite a few times, like quite a bit of time. It had been a little while since they'd gotten a real change going, and to be able to get it after a breakaway attempt, after Murphy made that stop, huge way to kind of get a little bit of a monkey off the back for the Raiders. You're back to a tie game. You can kind of take this face off here and go back to as you were almost.
Yeah, it seems like the Bulldogs kind of pushed all their chips in, trying to get that second goal here when they were a woman down, and it turned into something going the other way for the Raiders. I mean, that was just a beautiful one-timer there from Biederman, and we had talked about Kaltenkova and the fact that she does not have a goal on the board. I mean, that's as good as a goal. That pass was just beautiful to get that to Biederman on the far side. So now knotted up, 1-1 as the penalty to Minnesota Duluth comes to an end. Kramer comes out of the box, and we are back to full strength.
You can see it already, the extra buzz kind of on the ice on both sides here. And you can also see a little bit of the physicality kind of start amping up as well. You're starting to see a little bit more push and shoving, closer, a little bit more man-to-man coverage, woman-to-woman, excuse me, rather than kind of sitting back, seeing how a play works. So you're seeing the difference that a goal will make on either side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, the icebreaker, for lack of a better term. It's just, you have to get that first one to be able to try and add on, regardless of whether it's on the scoreboard or with your physicality, and both of these sides now playing with a little extra juice.
Could be pun intended as well.
Could have been. The whistle blows. Some fresh legs out for both sides. 11:50 to go here in period number 2. Both sides have put a goal on the board, and both of them being with special teams. The penalty kill for the Bulldogs, the power play for the Raiders, and it was a beautiful one. Biederman to Kaltenkova, back to Biederman. I mean, it doesn't get any more gorgeous than that.
I mean, we could talk about that primary assist pass back to Biederman, but that drop pass, how much she slowed down the puck for that next pass to work as well as it did. I mean, the two of them have done a great job just building chemistry together on that top line.
Yeah, and if you could have given away that secondary assist, the fact that it would have also gone to Biederman as well. I mean, if you could count it for 2, she would have gotten it there. That drop pass was, I mean, just beautiful to open up a little bit of space for Kaltenkova, and then for herself to put that home.
Textbook.
Yeah. So now the Raiders do win that face-off. And they get it all the way down. Some contact on it, no icing coming. Carlson back, some pressure put on by Brick. Palumbo threw it in front. Brick looking for the redirect, did not get it on net. O'Brien had that one thrown down. Pickering plays with the backhand. Colgate with numbers. Take the shot, why don't you? Blockered up and stayed in play off the glass, a few inches from going up into the netting, but now the Raiders trying to win it here against the near side boards. Palumbo looking to force it free. Brick came in to try and grab possession, but with that, left Baskin on the backside, who did grab it, and goes the other way for the Bulldogs. Oh, good pass. If that had connected, would have been a dangerous chance. Here's one in front. Right into the middle, looking for a redirect, did not come. Wrap around, Murphy goes post to post. That shot steered up, came from Henderson. No save necessary. Kramer took it, it's now still loose, covered. And Murphy gets the whistle. Some good chances there. We talked about Caitlin Kramer. She's had 2 or 3 good shots here in these last few minutes, and right from that middle position, looking right down Broadway at a wide open net, and has just been stopped so far. Murphy's been good.
She is somebody who knows how to make plays happen and how to take advantage of anything. She could have 5 or 6 players in front of her. She could be in a situation where, they've pulled the goalie at this point. She will find a way to make it happen. There's a reason that she's so highly regarded for the Canadian U20 national team.
Oh, what a stop there defensively, just laying down in front of it. Yope Smith not able to get it out, though. Raiders get a shot. That was steered up above the net. No save needed. Kept in and into the middle. Trying to win it. Kelton-Kova just watches now as it comes over to the near corner. She'll look to see if there's any space to try and win possession of the puck. There is. Looking for Biederman in the middle again. Trying to get a second one-timer. That one a little bit too strong, though. Biederman not able to redirect it on goal. Now through the middle. Off the boards, in front, into the bench of Minnesota Duluth. With that, we will take our timeout here in period number 2. But it's been exciting first half so far. Goals on both sides. We'll go into the break, knotted up at 1 apiece. You're watching women's college hockey right here on ESPN.
Target Circle Week is here, folks. Get ready for 7 days of big deals. 40% off.
Oh, he is cleaning up the savings.
30% off? Yes, please.
Well, there you have it. 7 days of big deals.
Welcome back into the class of 1965 arena. Brennan Miller here alongside Madison Huritzig. And Madison, it's the first line that gets that goal, but a lot of work done by that Colgate second line to tie this thing up.
You're looking at Emma Pice, Nina Brick, Madeline Palumbo. That is your second line for Colgate. And my goodness, they have been all over the ice throughout this game. Offense and defense. This is a group that knows.
Scores! Kelton-Kova! Her first of the season. There it is. She gets the assist on goal number 1. And why not put it home herself for goal number 2?
You know, we were talking about the second line doing some work. I think she decided, you know what, let's put the focus back on the top line, especially after how much she has been moving and making plays happen for this Raiders offense. It was only time before she found the back of the net. We said it earlier. And 9:21 left in the second, she's done it.
Yeah, just rip that one. I mean, wins the face-off as well. Gets possession for her side and then comes right down and beats Gascon right over the blocker side. It's the Raiders now in the lead, 2-1. A little bit inverse to what we saw there in the first period, where it was Minnesota Duluth who really controlled the pace of play. Now Colgate with that lead, a power play goal, and then Kelton-Kova puts that home to make it 2-1.
DeCoste has really taken this Raiders team and said, okay, you've got the rust off. You see how this Minnesota Duluth team plays. Shake off whatever nerves you have left, and something's clicked. I don't know what it is that he said, but he's clearly said or changed something so minute that it's not obvious immediately for such a switch to happen. And these players just look more confident. They look relaxed now.
On especially that line, COL1 and Biederman. I mean, Biederman got the assist on that as well, so they have both combined for 2 points here in this one. They have just been outstanding. And when your leaders are playing like that, it makes it a lot easier for someone who's maybe a little bit further down the line sheet to play up to a really high level as well.
Well, we talked about this team being a little bit on that younger side, particularly on the defense. When you see leaders like those two, like Hannah Murphy, be able to step up and make big plays in big moments, that does significantly help. It relaxes you a little bit because you're able to say, okay, I can play, I'm able to do this, and my leaders have my back.
So now the kind of pace of this game has really changed, where Colgate is getting it down into that offensive end a little bit more often here. We'll see it again. The icing whistle goes against Minnesota Duluth, but it does seem like the Bulldogs playing a little bit on their heels here.
I think they're starting to second guess the game plan that they had coming into this. You know, they are a team that attacks out of the gate. They like to have that extra jump. They like to be able to make an opponent a little bit more hesitant, and you're starting to see the reverse happen here.
COL1 trying to win the face-off here in the offensive end. Malachino had come away from her wing spot there, so not able to get it cleanly, but Raiders do force it up against the boards. Bulldogs come away with it. Carrying Van Wieren, trying to get that pass into the middle, taken away by Biederman. So the rush slowed down, the defense able to get back there for the Raiders. The tie-up in the middle, gets that puck all the way over to the near side boards. Colgate grabs possession, and they will carry it. Biederman across the blue line. Now Malachino behind her. Oh, what a move right in front! And a better save, but we get the arm up. A penalty hook going against the Bulldogs, so another power play coming here for Colgate in period number 2. But what a move that was. We're going to take another look at that one because it was beautiful.
You can see Malachino really draw the penalty here. You could see that she beat both of the two defenders that were now behind her. She just had to put it in the net. But being able to realize I don't have the angle anymore, I can draw this penalty. That, again, I've said it so many times now at this point, smart hockey reigns right now.
Yeah, absolutely used that one. Got Carlson into the box. Loose puck. Still in the middle, but the Bulldogs get it out for now. Possession stays with Minnesota Duluth, not able to clear. Out to the point it comes. Over to Palumbo. Looking for a lane. Doesn't have it. Goes with the pass. Called for it. Didn't get it. Now down in the corner. Back in behind. Raiders doing well to move this thing around. Try and open up some shooting lanes. Maybe not the best shot there. That was blocked. Turn right into the middle. That was redirected by Stewart a little bit wide. Stewart going over. Trying to win it. Does end up with possession. Backdoor, and that was a little bit too strong there for Malachino, but she was there. That puck got to her stick. Off the glass and out, so a clearance here for the Bulldogs at exactly 1 minute to go on the power play for the Raiders.
That is a long shift for a penalty kill unit. Obviously, you know, they were able to prevent a goal, but to be on the ice for a minute with that kind of attack, especially with how prolific this team can be on the power play. In tight, backdoor shot, save made, taken away. Gascon had to come across the net front. Here's another chance. Gascon lost her stick. It's stuck in the net, trying to work it free. Now it's loose, but she still doesn't have it. Raiders looking to get a shot on. Backdoor again, shot shouldered away. Gascon got in front. Now grabs the stick. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Raiders still keep it. Long. That went wide. Wrapped around. Still loose. That in front. Cleared away. Really good chances there for Colgate.
almost able to take advantage of Gascon losing her stick in the net. Power play comes to an end. Chance not over, though, for the Raiders. It does come to a close here. Gascon gets the cover. We'll have a face-off with exactly 5 minutes to go here in period number 2. But some really good chances there for the Raiders to end that power play.
The Raiders were able to catch the Bulldogs on a little bit of a transition moment there. They were trying to get fresh legs out. And Nina Brick, I was talking about the second line before that second goal was scored, but she comes in and has a great opportunity. That second line truly has been all over the ice, both offensively, defensively, creating chances, stopping pucks from getting to Hannah Murphy, and they are outperforming the Bulldogs in multiple scenarios here.
Hannah Murphy stepped out to make a play on that puck. It was knocked down, kept in the offensive end for the Bulldogs. Out to the top of the zone. Oh, puck still loose, kicked away. That one took a hop right in front of Murphy, but good eyes to stay on it. Up to Kramer. She gets beyond halfway point here at the class of 1965 Arena Rink. Throws it in. Puck loose. Both sides trying to grab in the offensive end for the Raiders. They can't get it. Now comes out to O'Brien. She's got the goal for these Bulldogs. Now trying to make an outlet pass. That's chipped up into the air. Under 4 minutes to go. Raiders in the lead, and now coming on with a rush. That shot knocked away. Good work by Gascon. Palumbo forced up against the boards. And now comes back to her on the near side. Trying to get that pass out to the top of the zone, looking for Borgil. Didn't get there. Jamie Spring trying to win it. Working in there, Borgil. Still with 3 minutes to go. The defense for Minnesota Duluth back in their own end will grab possession, but another attempt at a breakout here. Some aggressive forecheck play there by Kontonkova is able to stop that rush, and now the Raiders win possession. They'll go the other way. Biederman looking for something in the middle. Kontonkova trying to get her second of the day. We'll get a whistle for a penalty here going against the Raiders. Gascon was down on her backside, her goalie stick way over here, be 10 feet away from the crease. There might have been some contact in close to goal. But I mean, as you take a look at the shots on goal, it was heavily weighed in the favor of the Bulldogs coming out of period number 1. Now 21 to 18, a little bit closer as we see where that penalty comes from. But now a kill coming for the Raiders.
This is a huge opportunity for the Bulldogs to even this up yet again. They've been playing on their heels for the last few minutes. This is an opportunity for them to get a little momentum back, start to push back against a Raiders team that has been humming quite a bit for the last 8 minutes or so.
Kramer in to take the face-off, going up against Stewart. And the Raiders win the face-off and will be able to clear it all the way down. Gascon behind her own net. So the power play will come to a close before the period does. 2:18 to go here on the game clock. 1:44 left on the power play chance for the Bulldogs. Mobley couldn't get through. And the Raiders clear again. Might have gone off the stick of Biederman, but regardless, all the way down. She goes to the bench for a change. Fresh legs out for the Raiders once again. Yeah, they're playing that forecheck way up, almost right at center ice to try and keep the Bulldogs from getting behind them. It's worked so far. The one goal coming on that breakaway chance as they get another clearance here. We talked about the strength of Minnesota Duluth 5-on-5, but the 5-on-5 goal right now goes to the Raiders, and it was a special teams goal, regardless, a penalty kill goal for the Bulldogs going the other way, but still, they have not been able to get anything going, and we see another save there from Hannah Murphy.
You're looking at a Minnesota Duluth team that has traditionally been successful on a power play. This is a little bit of a weird lull for the Bulldogs. Traditionally, they are very strong a woman up, and right now to start the season, they haven't been able to figure out what that perfect scheme is. Excuse me.
Face off, one goes right to Murphy. So she covers up once again. Yeah, I think that's, early on in the year, regardless of what the outcomes in some of these games may be, every team is still trying to figure out how exactly they face or they square up against some of these opponents early on in the season, and even outside of who those opponents are, just how they want to play as well. I think both sides are trying to do that right here. Obviously for Colgate, it was a little more prevalent in those results against Mercyhurst, a team where normally they would be able to come out and get some pretty solid victories. That one ended up obviously going one game apiece to both those sides, and for Minnesota Duluth, you kind of have to get back to whatever was working there against Ohio State in those first two games.
And I think that's where having that extra week might actually be a slight disadvantage for the Bulldogs. You have the extra legs, sure, but at the same time, Colgate played last week. They have a little bit more of a jump. It's like sometimes when you look at playoffs and, sometimes a team that goes to Game 7 might have the early jump over a team that swept in the previous round.
Yeah, it's that momentum. You sit. There's only so much that you can do in practice to try and get yourself up. There's a reason there's something called to game speed. You got to kind of have to be playing in these games to be able to realize how you are going to work as a unit, especially on these power plays and these penalty kills and special teams for both these sides. Penalty comes to an end for the Raiders, so they are able to kill it off. They are a perfect 2 for 2 on the penalty kills so far. But Minnesota Duluth still with possession of the puck. It would be huge if they could tie this thing up going into that second intermission. Right now, the Raiders in the lead, 2-1. Carlton Kova and Biederman, the goal scorers. That was a backdoor chance. Came to Van Wieren, not able to get a stick on it and redirect. Still back in behind Murphy. Colgate clears it out, and they will head to the second break here at home with a 1-goal lead. It's 2-1. Colgate on top. We'll be right back to take a look at exactly how we got to that score. You're watching women's college hockey right here on ESPN.
Here, scared.
Swim team down there.
Oh, probably. I think that I
applies it by however much. I mean, to have a player like that, of that caliber, where if you make a mistake defensively, if you open something up, you can rely on her to still stand tall in net and make a save. That's outstanding. So 20 minutes to go here, period number 3 about to get underway. So we're going to take a look at maybe some of the out-of-town scores from around women's college hockey, and one of the ones that sticks out to us, St. Lawrence and Ohio State, 2-1. It's the Saints in the lead in that one.
That is a big deal. I'm interested to see what Ohio State does. They're in the third period right now, so they're in that final frame. I will be intrigued to see how the Buckeyes continue to battle this little bit of adversity that they're dealing with to start at this season. Another one that I noticed, it was tied up earlier, but Clarkson has started to run away with the game over Vermont. They're also in the third period. That is a 3-goal lead now.
Some other games might be of consequence through one period. St. Cloud State, Mercyhurst knotted up 0-0. So Mercyhurst, after splitting that series against Colgate, going out against another ranked team, they themselves ranked. Boys. Is it too cold for that? Did they just come from swim practice?
They must have.
Had to, right? But hey, that's support. I'm sure that's what the women's team here is looking for. Those, just the swim team on the glass, Speedos and all.
I think the irony, it's specifically my kind of irony, but I coach a swim team in Syracuse part-time, so it's rather entertaining that makes an appearance here.
We're going to get a whistle. As the Raiders came out of the D zone. Yeah, I mean, and it's the Colgate branded. That's up on the big screen here at the Class of 65 arena. So what you're seeing is what we're seeing inside the arena, and that's getting fist bumps from a lot of people.
I like the two that are on the end that have the only
Yeah,
two not in the
they
Colgate
changed.
branded ones. They're in bright colors.
Yeah, after practice, they didn't come right to the arena. They went and changed into their other Speedo before they came here for this game. Oh, man.
Nothing like college, right?
No, there's really not. There's really not. So just under a minute gone here, period number 3. Let's get back to the hockey. I'm sure won't be the last time that we will see the Colgate swim team down there.
Oh, probably not.
Probably not, or hear them at the very least. But, of course, the Raiders trying to give them something to cheer about, whether it be in the offensive or defensive sides, just trying to get this puck out. Minnesota Duluth has come out, and they control offense. Whistle goes up. Do we have a penalty going against the Raiders? Yeah, cross check. So Avery Pickering will go and sit for 2 minutes. Another power play chance coming here for the Bulldogs. They are 0-2 so far.
That is a pretty big loss for the Raiders, regardless of what the scoreboard says right now. Again, another very important opportunity for the Bulldogs. But Pickering has been all over the ice for the defense this game. She's made a lot of good stops. She's been able to kind of cut off some passing and shooting lanes for this Raiders team.
Now breakaway going the other way. Biederman on the kill. Shoot save made by Gascon. But we've seen chances for both teams on that penalty kill. Of course, Minnesota Duluth was able to capitalize on theirs, but a good save by Gascon keeps things where they are. 2-1, the Raiders still lead.
Regardless if, a shorthanded goal occurs or not, a breakaway is still huge because it kills the clock a little bit. Gives some space, and you can get a line change in if you need to.
Right, it's as good as his clearance is, and you get that chance on goal as well to add on. So now the Raiders still just looking at clear. Minute 6 seconds left to go on the power play for the Bulldogs. Van Wieren drops it back. Furman back to Van Wieren, and then the pass into the middle was a little bit too strong, out of the reach of Mobley, and it goes beyond the blue line. So the Bulldogs will have to drop back and reset on side. 45 seconds to go. And then played off the boards, back in behind. Going to get it, O'Brien. She's the goal scorer for the Bulldogs so far in this one. She'll set up in the middle and watch her two teammates distribute the puck around her. Henderson gives it away in the middle. Puck stayed on the ice, and with that, got kicked away before it got into Murphy. Now O'Brien again, looking for a redirect in front. A little bit too much stick on that one. Steered it wide, but another good chance there for the Bulldogs. Long defensive shift. Backside shoots, scores. Anderson knots things up at 2 apiece.
That is a hard goal for the Colgate Raiders to take right now. And unfortunately, there wasn't really much Murphy could do to stop that. I mean, you look at this replay here, the Bulldogs, there's nobody there for her. Nobody for Henderson to be able to maneuver around. She had a wide open net. Hannah Murphy could have sprawled out. It wouldn't have made much of a difference.
And that was just a really long defensive shift for those Raiders. They were back in that defensive end for over a minute. And when your opponent is getting those kind of chances again and again and again, you have to get that clearance to try and get some fresh penalty kill legs out there. But the Bulldogs do a really good job of making sure that line, that penalty kill line for Colgate stayed out, and they take advantage.
And that's Minnesota Duluth's second power play goal in 9 tries to start the season. So it's a plus for the Bulldogs, more than just tying up this game. They're able to kind of get a little bit more of a sense of how they can manage their power plays later on this season and also throughout this weekend.
There's a pass, comes to Petford. She goes over the blue line, but then loses her edge. Played back in behind, 16 minutes to go, and now essentially back to 0-0. Still looking for the game winner between these two sides. Out to the top, played back in. Palumbo threw it down into the corner. Lot of maroon jerseys down there.
Bulldogs are really starting to condense around the Colgate players. They're making that adjustment after Colgate was able to spread out a little bit because of how quickly they were making passes. Minnesota Duluth is starting to kind of make an adjustment to that here.
Jamie Spring, some good physical play, knocked that puck free, stopped a pass from coming into the middle. Up over the top, Murphy Gloves holds on for a stoppage. But still, it's more power play goals, or a power play goal coming here for Minnesota Duluth. They have scored both of their goals on special teams so far in this contest. One on the kill, one on the power play, as we take another look at them putting that puck in the back of the net. But we had talked about their 5-on-5 strength, but it's been the special teams that have knotted this thing up here in the third.
Now, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, though, Brendan. Remember, there's still 15 minutes left in this game, and these two teams still play again tomorrow. So there is an opportunity for Minnesota Duluth to put a 5-on-5 goal in the net at some point. But yes, throughout this game, 5-on-5 offense just has not been the Bulldogs' strength. And again, a lot of that credit does go to Hannah Murphy's game tonight.
So the Raiders win possession. On the face-off, looking for Pice, didn't get it to him. Down the middle, carried through by Brick. Pice now down in the corner, but cannot win possession. Bulldogs carry out once again. Laurie had it taken away. Calton Kova, so the first line out there for the Raiders. Pice all the way across. She'll go to the bench for a change. Trying to get that drag. Biederman lost it off of her stick. And up over the top of the glass. We'll get a face-off down in the defensive end here for the Bulldogs.
I have a feeling the rest of this third period might turn into a little bit of a coaching chess match with how these two head coaches have made adjustments. We saw Minnesota Duluth come out with a really strong game plan. Then you saw Colgate come out in the second period with some clearly fixed adjustments, and now the Bulldogs are starting to show some adjustments that they've made under Laura Schuler.
Oh, big hit there over on the far side to free up the puck. It was Biederman who put that on. Heard from her between periods 2 and 3. Shot kicked away up into the netting. We will get a whistle and a face-off to the right side of Murphy. Roll back and forth here. Do you think either side is playing this thing a little bit more tentatively now that it's knotted up? You don't want to make a mistake and open things the other way for your opponent.
I think so. I think both teams have realized that they've made a couple critical errors that have resulted into goals, and with the importance of this matchup as early in the season as this is, neither team wants to be the team that makes the mistake that costs the series opener this weekend.
So the Raiders get it down into the defensive end. On the boards, far side, two teams trying to win it. And Colgate comes away. Colvin chips it in, goes to the bench. Bulldogs will go and chase. Raiders setting up offensively. They're going to try and win this thing clean and move the puck around the outside, but the Bulldogs do a good job of getting it out from their defensive end. Spring loses it. Bergen was there, but she had to drop back on side, so instead she just goes to the bench for a full change. That pass off the boards a little bit too long. Goes back in behind Gascon. Arm goes up. We will get a penalty on the Raiders. So let's get that extended power play time. If you're Minnesota Duluth, heading to the bench, Gascon, and they get the 6th skater out there. Gotta just hold on to possession. Raiders doing what they can to try and touch it up. Oh, across! What a shot! That came from Kramer. We had talked about her as being a player to watch in this game and almost made this thing 3-2, but Murphy stands tall. Will now have to do so for another 2 minutes as the Raiders go on the kill.
That was one of the first times we've seen Kramer really show off what she can do this entire game. Colgate has done a very good job of limiting her. However, going back to this penalty here, I mean, it was just a simple trip. Looked like she was going for a poke check, wasn't trying to intentionally do something. However, kind of was behind the play a little bit, and it led to a trip, and now another penalty kill that the Raiders have to hold off in a very critical situation.
So they will look to clear. They did a good job of clearing out in the opening minutes of that last PK, obviously not able to get through it cleanly. Good poke away there to try and get something right as Kramer came across center ice. Chipped up into the bench. We'll get another face-off here, this time right at center. Bulldogs win it. Into the middle. Looking for Joe Smith, not able to get it to her. Instead, over to the far corner. O'Brien was calling for it in the middle. Instead, back out to Joe Smith at the top. Now comes over to Henderson, looking to go across. Off the boards, and a save made by Murphy. Raiders clear. No, that one hit the stick of a player in the bench for Colgate. So the face-off is going to be down in the defensive end here for the Raiders. There's a mistake coming from the bench.
Yeah, that's one of those where it's just almost unlucky.
Yeah.
Because they're all standing there, they've got their stick. That's not necessarily intentional by any means. The benefit, though, is the Raiders do get fresh legs on the ice. So they do have 4 new women on the ice now.
Face-off won there by Biederman. Now up against the boards. Colgate trying to work it free. Comes out to the point. And back to the point again. Baskin distributes. Oh, comes over to near side. Kramer's shot. Puck still loose. Backhanded attempt there to get it across from Wallen. Not able to find anyone on the receiving end. Bulldogs keep it. 37 seconds to go here on the power play. Raiders got to clear this out. Get some fresh legs out there. Again, they're stuck. A long PK here. Kramer into the middle. Took one bounce. And now an opportunity to get it down to the opposite end. They do, so a good kill from that second unit. Gets to Van Weeren. She comes across the blue line. Albin trying to force it back, but she cannot. Arm goes up. We will get a whistle going against Minnesota Duluth. A hook called against the Bulldogs, and so we'll have 4-on-4 for 8 seconds, and then some power play time coming here for the Raiders.
Taking a look here at this, another save. It was a nice block there for Colgate that really kind of took a little pressure off of Hannah Murphy, but going back to this 4-on-4 scenario, again, another one of those scenarios where neither team was trying to draw a penalty in the moment. It was more so one of those incidental moving on from the play kind of motion, and we have not had 4-on-4 for this entire game. It's only for 8 seconds, but this is a new scenario for these two teams.
And if the Raiders can win the face-off, they aren't able to, but they do have that player coming out of the penalty box. So now this turns into a power play chance here for Colgate. The penalty was a hook going against Olivia Wallin, so she will sit. A minute and 40 seconds to go there, and a minute 40 on the power play here for the Raiders. Colton Kova down in behind Gascon. Raiders trying to work it. Gets to Colton Kova, out to the top, a little to the backhand. No shot coming. They'll reset. Open shooting lane once again. That escapes from the offensive zone. Pice will drop back, as do the rest of the Raiders, to get onside. Kelton Kova takes the shot, kicked away, still in close. Got another chance, and the stick breaks, looking for the one-timer. Still loose here for Colgate. Still they're able to possess in the offensive end. Under a minute to go on the power play.
Another prolonged penalty kill shift in this period. I mean, both teams have had their penalty kill units out for extended periods of time throughout this game, but particularly this period.
Now the Bulldogs will go for a change and maybe turn it into something. Mobley's shot. Don't know if Murphy got the blocker on that. No, offside. Is that the whistle?
That was the whistle.
So we get an offside whistle here, 34 seconds to go. Surprised to see a shot coming after the whistle for offside.
I don't think they heard it. So, because, they were already pretty far along in the play by the time they blew the whistle. It was a little bit of a later whistle. But yeah, was indeed an offsides call there.
So 34 seconds to go on the penalty that went to Wallin. Raiders do win the faceoff. Malachino trying to find something. Had it turned around. Mobley moving quickly to get from Colgate offensive player to Colgate offensive player. A little bit of a turnover there. Malachino looking for some help. Doesn't get it. Bulldogs are able to clear, and that should do it for the power play. So both sides get almost a full power play, and neither side able to find the game-winning goal with a woman up. Kramer gets tied up after trying to win that puck. Pickering was the woman who got that most recent penalty called on her for the Raiders. Gave it. And now they will try and get into the offensive zone. 8:12 to go here, period number 3. We're knotted up at 2 goals apiece. Colton Kova, Biederman, the goal scorers for Colgate. O'Brien and Henderson, the goal scorers for Minnesota Duluth, and that's where we sit at the moment. Murphy makes another save, put her up at 28 this evening. Job Smith, long shot, looking for a deflection. It goes straight down and is still in close. They score to take the lead. Van Wieren from in tight. The initial shot got blocked, but she cleans up to put the Bulldogs in the lead, 3-2.
The number of people that were crowded around that play, you can count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people all within a few feet of Hannah Murphy there. When you have that many bodies near the goalie crease, it's so hard to stop the puck. And honestly, it's also one of those types of goals where it's just gritty. And in a game like this, where you've been deadlocked for as long as this game has been, a gritty goal can be such a big momentum boost for these final 7.5 minutes.
So now the Bulldogs hold that 3-2 lead. This third period, after the second was all Colgate, has really leaned heavily in favor of Minnesota Duluth. 2 goals, and we are going to get a high stick, so a face-off to come. But before we get that face-off, we will head to a quick commercial break. Minnesota Duluth now in the lead. They've scored twice here in period number 3. You're watching women's college hockey right here on ESPN.
Mom taught us too much sugar makes us tired and protein makes us strong.
Hey, Mom also taught us to share the good stuff, like sweet and creamy super coffee.
We created super coffee to make Mom proud. 10 grams of protein, less than 1 gram of sugar, and only 80 calories. Whoa!
Some things never change.
It's the most historic conference in college hockey. It's a battle night in and night out. ECAC hockey, an iconic conference home to 12 of the most prestigious universities and programs in the world, and showcasing the best student athletes in the sport. Top-notch facilities and arenas, incomparable traditions, passionate fans, alumni who go on to become elite professionals, leaders, and champions. ECAC hockey, there's no experience like it.
7 minutes and 20 seconds to go here at the class of 1965 arena on the campus of Colgate University. It's 3-2. Minnesota Duluth has really controlled period number 3, putting 2 goals on the board after coming into this final 20 minutes down by 1. They now lead by 1 and are going to try and hold on to that lead for 7 more minutes to secure themselves a victory, what would be their 3rd ranked win of the season. Shot from that far side was just a few inches wide, but a really good chance there for the Raiders. Colton Kova goes back and is able to earn the icing whistle, so 6:42 to go. We'll have a face-off to the left side of the woman in net there for the Bulldogs. That is one Eve Gascon.
And that'll bring Minnesota Duluth's top line back out, but they were just out to start coming out of this break, so they've already been out here for about 35, 40 seconds. So they're going to be trying to win this face-off to get back off the ice.
So first line here for the Bulldogs going up against the second line for the Raiders, led by Nina Brink, Emma Pice, Madeline Palumbo. But they have done a lot of work defensively to really open up some of the chances on the offensive end for that first line. As now it goes back to Spring. Spring up to Pice. Pice's pass was knocked away, and then Pice able to force a turnover right in the neutral zone. Off the glass, back in, behind Gascon. She'll play it. Bulldogs carry out, good breakout pass, trying to find O'Brien. Look to drag it between the legs of Pickering, but she does a good job to force her back in behind Murphy. No shot coming on that chance for the Bulldogs. They do keep it in. Long shot was blocked. Colton Kova got in the way of that one. And now it comes over to her on the near side, trying to use that speed. She's got a goal already in this one. Would love to get a second. Colton Kova and Biederman have combined for both goals. And so you really like to have them out on the ice. That's your hot hand. You got to continue to play with it if you are head coach Stefan DeCoste. We're going to whistle. A penalty going against the Bulldogs, so the Raiders will have a chance. If you wanted to tie this thing back up, here's your opportunity. They'll go woman up for 2 minutes.
This is where the Raiders' power play success has to show out. I mean, you're in the final 5 minutes of this game. A very clear minor penalty called there. You have the opportunity to tie this game up yet again on the thing that this team has excelled at season after season. I talked about Minnesota Duluth having a traditionally strong power play. You want to talk about a traditionally strong power play, Colgate is the blueprint for having a strong woman advantage scenario.
And they have been able to show it through those first 2 games against Mercyhurst as well, really being able to take advantage when they go woman up. So now sitting for 2, Danielle Bergen for Minnesota Duluth. Raiders with an opportunity. They'll, if it runs all the way through, take the game clock down to 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go. Brink is going to get set out of the face-off dot. That's an important one. Brick, coming into this period, had won 7 of 8 face-offs. So she will have to reset. Kaltenkova comes in, she'll take it. And on the other side, Kaltenkova coming into the third had only won 3 of 10. She wins this one, though. That's a huge win for Kaltenkova after it had gone a little bit against what she had done through the first 2 periods. Under 5 to go in the game. Kaltenkova in front. Tried to get that to the forehand to take a shot from tight, but did not get it to the front of the stick. Long shot, looking for a little deflection in front, does not come. Pice over across the formation. Kaltenkova looking for the redirect in front, didn't get that either. Pice playing as a little bit of a defender here for this Colgate side on this first power play unit. They're really getting all the forwards out there trying to get this goal to knot things up. Pice carries in, looking for something in the middle, and that was just out of the reach of Brick. Colgate still with it, played off the boards, comes out. Borgil, far corner, someone doesn't have a stick in there. Now it's picked up. That was Mobley who didn't have it for the Bulldogs, but a clearance here comes for Minnesota Duluth. They throw it to the near corner. Back in behind. Raiders will break out once again. 40 seconds to go here on the power play. They scored late on their power play goal. Would love to do the same thing here. Knot this thing up late in the third. Over to the far corner. Some pressure put on. Baskin went over to try and play it for the Bulldogs. Point-to-point pass. Now down low. Shot up over the top. Well, Aquino just lofted that one into the netting. We'll get a face-off in front of Gascon.
The officials motioned that it was actually deflected there, so maybe it looked like one of the Bulldog defenders actually got a piece of it. It was lifted on that initial shot, though, so maybe the extra deflection there was why it ended up skying into the netting there. But you're seeing some movement with this Raiders power play. It's just a matter of can they finish at this point.
And now they got to put something home. 20 seconds to go here on the power play chance for the Raiders. They will have possession in the offensive end. Pice's shot didn't go. In front, it went through the crease. Nobody there to turn it onto the frame. Now comes over. Pice again looking for a lane. That one was blocked. Standing in front. Carlson, good job. Oh, did not go in. Colgate not able to score, and a whistle here for another penalty. Let's see who this one's going against. And we got a player down right there in front of goal. Let's take another look at that. Just right through the crease it comes again. That was back-to-back offensive possessions with that puck coming through. And Stefan DeCoste is almost out on the ice having a conversation with our officials because the penalty goes against the Raiders.
I think he's arguing that it should be a Minnesota Duluth penalty here because she almost got tripped up going into the penalty. Here's another look at the save, it looks like here. But, I mean, again, you're looking at a scenario for Colgate that you come across, you see she shoved there. That must be what it was called because she later went down a few seconds later. So that initial call is what the refs have made the decision on here instead of electing for a 4-on-4 scenario.
If you're the Bulldogs, you feel really good about this power play chance. At minimum, you're going to play for the next minute and 40 seconds with a woman up and be able to run this thing pretty close to the final minute of action. Actually, beyond the final minute of action, 59 seconds to go for Colgate when they get off of this penalty kill. That said, we have seen penalty kill goals in this game. So both sides still have to lock in defensively and try and, if you're Minnesota Duluth, keep this thing where it is. If you're Colgate, try and score that goal that ties things up and gives you a chance to send it to overtime.
Another thing that benefits the Bulldogs here with how little time is going to be left on the clock, it's going to be extremely difficult for DeCoste to motion to Hannah Murphy to get off the ice to try and have a 6-on-5 advantage in the final seconds of the game. That is going to have to be a set play that the Raiders come up with if they want to try and have a little bit of a 6-on-5 scenario play out in the final moments of this third period.
Well, and that's where you feel good about having Hannah Murphy back in goal, where she is just a veteran on this team. And I'm sure she knows, as soon as this power play chance for the Bulldogs comes to an end, I am booking it to that bench.
As soon as it's cleared, you're gone at that point, and you're motioning to who needs to come off the bench and start heading down to the other side of the ice.
So 2 minutes to go. 57 seconds here on the power play for the Bulldogs. They drop it. They will take their time getting into the offensive end. Little tie-up. Penalty going against the Bulldogs. That's how you do it. If you're Alyssa Biederman, you answer back and draw a penalty to get this thing to even strength.
I don't think there's an element of this game that Biederman has not had a hand in. I mean, you see that here. She goes to make a move around in center ice. One little arm, you're able to kind of lean into it a little bit more. Maybe not so much. It looked like she did have her momentum kind of going a little sideways there. But, I mean, you create a huge opportunity to negate the rest of that penalty kill, even things out, and then have the final seconds be a power play.
Yeah, for the rest of this game, it'll be either even strength or a Colgate power play. 1 minute and 47 seconds to go. That penalty will go against Hannah Baskin. And that's a lot of experience you're losing on the ice for Minnesota Duluth as well. Baskin wearing the A. She's on that second D pair, but 105 games played for this side. She is one of the most experienced players, not just for Minnesota Duluth, but in all of women's collegiate hockey. And you lose her defensively, that's huge.
She's somebody that was on the penalty kill for all of Colgate's power plays. She's somebody that offensively knows how to move the puck as well. She was on the ice for the Minnesota Duluth power play. That is somebody that can play all aspects of this game. So having her sit for these final moments of this third period, that is huge for Colgate. That takes a little bit of a breath and allows you to have a moment like this where they can call a timeout, regroup, come up with a game plan, and then figure out how they can finish the last minute and 47 seconds swinging.
Yeah, this is going to be huge here for the Raiders. Obviously, it goes without stating they will be at minimum at even strength, barring another penalty here against the Raiders. So good call here from head coach Stefan DeCoste to call that timeout and kind of discuss what the game plan is.
We mentioned earlier that this game might end up being a little bit of a chess match between the two coaches. This is exactly what we were referencing.
Yep,
I mean, this game is almost boiling down to two first-year head coaches for these big-time programs having to make some big-time calls in a monstrous early season game. I mean, when you talk about how you want to match up to like program leaders, I don't think you can paint more of a bigger picture here.
No, it's really going to be who gets more opportunities here late in this contest. I mean, it's two first-year coaches who have moved into that position after long tenures as assistants for these two sides, their respective sides. And now here's the test, right? It's your third game of the season. It's a ranked game for both of these sides, a top 10 battle, and somebody's got to come away with a winner here. Right now, it's the Bulldogs, but Colgate definitely with the ice tilted in their direction here for these final minute and 47 seconds.
It's a gut check, plain and simple. I mean, this is a gut check for every single player on the ice and these two coaches.
It's a huge face-off win there for the Bulldogs, but the Raiders do a good job applying some high pressure to force a turnover, and now they will go the other way. Eichfeld threw it across. Raiders will drop back. Now comes over to Eichfeld again. Drop pass, but Colgate able to keep it in the offensive end. Going to chase Palumbo, trying to put some pressure on. They're happy to just pin this puck up against the boards and wait for this final 10 seconds to run down on the penalty kill. Then they will have the final minute to go here with a woman up. Minnesota Duluth does grab possession. They will come out, but it's a power play for the Raiders. Under a minute to go. They've got to score, tie this thing up, and send it to the overtime frame, but they do have the extra woman on the ice. That does allow Minnesota Duluth to send it all the way down, though, so they clear. Murphy back in behind her own net. Touched into the neutral zone. Will Murphy go over to the bench, try and get 6-on-4 here for this Raiders side? She is leaving her crease. She will go over. So 6-on-4 for the Raiders as Murphy gets into the bench. Palumbo comes out, comes into the formation. Raiders holding on, 20 seconds to go. Out to the point, looking for a shooting lane. They're going to get one chance to get it. It went through the crease. Maybe a save there by Gascon, but the Raiders keep it. Under 10 seconds, they got to get a shot on. From distance, deflected wide. 3, 2, 1, got to get something. Pice's shot is saved by Gascon. Now without their chances, but the Raiders go down here in their home opener by a final score of 3-2. I mean, Madison, that was just an electric last 2 minutes of this game.
I mean, an absolute thriller. Obviously, a really, really tough pill to swallow for Colgate, having so many close opportunities in those final 20 seconds. 3 shots that nearly went in. We're just needing one additional bounce. That bounce did not happen tonight. They do have another crack at it tomorrow afternoon to split this series. Regardless, though, very evenly matched hockey game. Personally, I thought it was going to be a close game. I had even said it to you before this game started. I was expecting maybe a 1 or 2 goal game. We got a 1 goal game. It